Good morning. My name is Tamika Jeffries, and I will be discussing chapters 20 and 21 from the book, The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader today. Chapter 20 talks about being teachable. To keep leading, we have to keep learning. It's what we learn after we know it all, what counts. It's what counts the most. As a leader, we are usually in a position of influence or a position of stature. So it becomes easy to become complacent in the role or the level of knowledge that we have because sometimes, we get in our own head and feel like we've already made it. But we should always look for opportunities to keep growing. Growth determines who we are, growth determines who we attract, and growth will also determine the success of our organization. If we want to keep growing, we must remain teachable. So, today I will share with you 5 guidelines to help you maintain a teachable attitude. One, you must cure your destination disease. A lot of people feel like that once they've already reached a desired achievement or position, that they no longer need to grow. So, as an effective leader can't afford to do that. They have to keep growing day to day, week to week, from year to year in order to allow their organization to reach its full potential or even to reach our full potential as individuals. We have to continue to grow. Number two, we have to overcome success. Ironically, success, which is what we're all trying to strive for, but sometimes success hinders our teachability. Effective leaders, they understand what got them where they are, what helped make them successful, but they also understand that that same thing that worked 10 years ago is not going to work today. So they have to be willing to explore new ideas. Once you accomplish what was considered a big goal, now we have to focus on something even bigger. Number three, we have to swear off shortcuts. For everything that has a value, there's a price. There's a price to pay for reaching goals. There's a price to pay for becoming successful, whether it be time and finances. As a leader, it's important that you invest those things into your vision, and to figure out what the price is and be willing to pay it. So, number four is trade your pride. One of the biggest issues that we face within ourselves is often pride. In order to remain teachable, we have to put our pride aside. We have to accept the fact that we don't know, even though we might know a lot, we don't know everything. There's so much to learn, so much goes on, and even in our society today, things are always changing. So, as I stated earlier, what may have worked 10 years ago may not work today. So, and even what you're trying to implement now, you might find yourself making mistakes here and there, and that's okay. We make mistakes and then we learn from them. So number five, to piggyback off of the mistakes, you never want to pay for the same mistakes twice. So if we don't make mistakes, we don't make progress, because the mistake shows us what works and what does not. So but the goal is to not continue to make the same mistakes over and over and to learn from them, so we don't have to continue to pay for the same thing. When we're trying to consider if we are teachable, there's a few questions that I'll just pose to you today. What are you reaping? Does your life and leadership get better day after day, year after year, or are you constantly fighting to hold ground? The problem may be that you have a lack of teachability. So over the course of time, try to observe your behaviors and your attitudes toward growing and learning to see where you stand. So, also, the book teaches us about how we can improve our teachability. If we recognize that we may be struggling in that area, there are 3 things that we can do to help. Observe how we react to making mistakes. Do you admit your mistakes? Do you apologize when needed, or do you get defensive when something happens? Observe yourself, or ask a friend or a family member for their honest opinion. And if you find that you're struggling in those areas, then maybe we need to work on being teachable. Another one is try something new. Get out of your own way and try something new. Throughout the week, maybe 1 or 2 times a week, or starting off small. Challenge yourself to try something different once a week, whether it be something mentally, something physically, or something that challenges you emotionally, because that's how we grow. That's how we develop. stepping outside of our comfort zones and taking on things that challenge us in areas that we would normally just kind of shy away from. Make new challenges a part of your daily life. And number 3, we want to learn more in the areas that we're strong in. So you might consider yourself an expert in a certain area. Maybe it's computers, or being a techie or something like that. But we know that technology changes every day. So just like most things in life, because the needs of people are changing, and then so we want to be able to address those. So it's never too late to learn more information. So even if you feel like you're an expert on a subject, continue to read books, continue to study, continue to listen to podcasts and what other people are doing, or look into what's new, what's coming up, those type of things, because that also helps you prevent yourself from becoming bored or unteachable. If you want to succeed tomorrow, we have to be teachable today. So that concludes chapter 20. I will be moving on to chapter 21. Chapter 21 talks about having a vision. You can seize only what you can see. A great leader's courage to fulfill his vision comes from passion, not position, according to John Maxwell. Vision is everything for a leader, because it leads them. That's what drives them to become successful or to reach goals. A vision gives us a target and something to work towards, and it compels us to continue to move forward. When we share our vision with others, it oftentimes sparks a fire in them to also jump on board and help with that vision. So if you are a leader without a vision, it's likely that you've been stuck in the same area, feeling like you're just spinning your wheels, going on around in the same circle, and really not accomplishing anything new. In this chapter, we will discuss 4 ways that vision becomes a part of how vision becomes a part of a good leader's life. Number 1, vision starts within. I can't rely on someone else to tell me what my vision is, because other people don't know what I'm passionate about or what's in my heart unless I choose to share it with them. So I can't go to my husband and say, honey, what's my vision for me? I can ask him what's his vision for our family. But as an individual, God deals with us individually as well. So I know what I'm passionate about. I know what drives me. I know what makes my mind tick or whatever. So, and a lot of times it kind of is based on what our skills, our gifts, and our talents are. But at the same time, it also has a lot to do with the seed that God has planted in our heart. So we can't pull on someone else to say, hey, what's my vision? We can talk to other people and ask them what they did in their process, or we can be inspired by others. But what we cannot do is expect other people to push us in a place that was designed for us. We can't expect other people to push us further in our vision than we're willing to push ourselves. Number 2, vision draws on history. Vision isn't something that you just pull out of the sky. Like I said, it's based on something usually that you've experienced or either been exposed to. I think Pastor tells a story about how when he went to college, he didn't know anything about computer technology or computers until he met his roommate. And so then that inspired him. That's something that he was now exposed to that he didn't know about before. And then he went on to get his degree in computer engineering. So it's things like that. But all that is a seed. That's a seed that's being planted in our thoughts or in our hearts, that at some point it develops into a passion. And then we consider it or deem it big enough to pursue as a vision for ourselves. Number 3, vision meets the needs of others. True vision goes beyond what an individual can accomplish. If it has real value, it does more than just include others. It adds value to them. If you have a vision that doesn't meet the needs of people or serve others, it's probably too small. Number 4, vision helps to gather resources. One of the most valuable benefits of a vision is that it acts like a magnet. It attracts, it challenges, and it unites people. It rallies finances and resources. The greater the vision, the more potential it has to attract hard workers and winners. And everybody wants to be a part of a winning team. So the greater the challenge, the easier it is to draw out those that are not willing to work, because you're going to have some people that when you share your vision with them, they're going to murmur and complain and say that's too much. And that's okay, because you want to weed the bad seeds out of your process, so you can develop a team that will work better together to work towards the common goal. To find a vision that is indispensable to leadership, you have to become a good listener. There are several voices that we all must listen to. Number one, we have to listen to that inner voice within ourselves. As I previously stated, vision comes from within. It's what stirs your heart. What do you dream about? A vision is usually derived from something that comes deep within, and the reality of it is, if it's not something that you're passionate about, you're not likely to pursue it. Most people, if it's something that they don't really care about, they don't care whether it works out or not. But if it's something that it really impresses upon your heart, then you're going to put everything that you have into it to make sure that it's successful. We have to listen to the unhappy voice. Inspiration for great ideas come from noticing what doesn't work. Oftentimes, being unhappy with something challenges us to do something about it. You may feel like there's a need that needs to be met in your community, but you don't know anyone that's working to meet that need. So then you step out and say, hey, I'll volunteer, I'll take care of that, and pull the team together to plan what you can do set to fulfill or meet that need of others. A successful voice. We cannot accomplish great things alone. To fulfill a great vision, you need a team, and you need to be able to get good advice from someone who has already walked your path. You need a leader and a mentor that can speak knowledge and positivity into your situation. A mentor is someone who can help sharpen your vision. You need to hear the higher voice, or the highest voice, which would be God. A vision should not be confined by our limited abilities. A truly valuable vision must have God in it, because only He knows our full capabilities. We must take ourselves out of our comfort zone, to seek our full potential by seeking God's direction for our lives. So there are 3 ways that we've talked about the voices that we need to hear and what a good leader needs to be able to see as a visionary. So the last part is we're going to talk about 3 ways we can improve our vision if we don't feel like that's an area that we're strong in. 1, measure yourself. If you have previously thought about a vision for your life and expressed it verbally, but you're not really sure if you are relaying it correctly, talk to people that you trust. Bounce the ideas off your spouse, talk to your friends, your mentors. If they can articulate what they think you're trying to do based on what they've seen you do, then you're doing a good job at implementing what you desire your vision to be. The other thing is to write it down. If you have a vision but you've never put it in writing, take the time to do so. Writing clarifies your thinking and helps weed out the bad ideas. Once you've written your vision down, decide if it's worthy to be called your life's work, and if so, pursue it. Number 3, do a gut check. If you haven't spent a lot of time focusing on your vision, do so over the next few weeks or the next few months or whatever. Consider what really impacts how you feel about things. What makes you cry? What makes you scared? What things do you dream about? And what gives you energy? Like, what do you get excited about when someone is talking about an opportunity? Does it excite you? Do you feel like, oh man, I really want to be a part of that? Those type of questions that we have to ask ourselves so we can kind of figure out what direction we're headed in. So finally, consider what changes you want to see in the world. Once your ideas are on paper and become more clear, talk to a mentor about them and see how to implement your plan. Most of all, just check when we're considering what our vision is, I think one of the most important things, of course, as Christians and us having working in a a spiritual environment, is that we really have to do the gut check and to seek God for our vision, because we don't. It's so easy to put our energy on things that really won't matter at the end of the day, and that He has not called us to. So, as visionaries and as leaders, we want to make sure that we're continuing to follow the plan of God for our lives.